This podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Is it a chill or a ghostly breeze? A knock, a tap, what do you believe? Ghosts, gossip, gather around, where the lost and the haunted are found. Ghosts, gossip, don't make a sound. Truth or tales, we'll dig it out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome Jennifer from GALS. Hey, we're here.
Finally, after much trouble, very glad to be here. Very excited. I've been looking forward to this ever since we started talking about it.
Me too. So before we dive into your stories, can you tell my listeners a little bit about you?
Well, my name is Jennifer Payne, and I am GALS, Ghosts and Ladies, paranormal investigator. I'm also a videographer and photographer. I'm also an office manager in pest control. I wear many hats. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a dog mother, all kinds of things. And as I've gotten older, I've just found myself very much interested really in the paranormal, and some things just kind of happened that put me in a position to start doing some investigations, and it's just really snowballed from there. And I've been doing this for less than 2 years, and I feel like I've really kind of made a little bit of a name for myself. I feel like I'm a halfway decent paranormal investigator with a lot to learn. But I'm really good, I think, at marketing. And I think you know how important that is.
Yes.
People who didn't know me 24 months ago, they did. And I really am continuing to really try to build kind of a brand with GALS. We want to stand for integrity in the paranormal field. We want to stand for preserving history. We want to stand for telling the truth about the history, the good, bad, and the indifferent. And last but not least, I have found an amazing fellowship with paranormal investigators, so much so to the point that, like, for example, like I'm going on an investigation tomorrow night, and I always set
Ooh.
my intentions. Very exciting. It's a private one. I'll tell you about that one after the fact. But before any investigation, I try to set my intentions. And for a long time, my intentions were, I want to communicate respectfully. I want to hear back from the spirits. I don't want to take anything home with me. You know, kind of the standard checklist, I think, of setting your intentions. But a couple of months back, I added a new intention to set, and it's the first intention that I set when I go down that mental checklist. And that is, I set the intention of fellowship.
Oh.
And I'm goosebumps when I tell you that. It's just made everything that much better. And I mean, I really connected with this group of people. We have a lot in common, this group of friends that I've made in the last couple of years. But some real fellowship, spiritual connections, and that kind of thing. And also a lot of opportunities have come up. But that setting that intention of fellowship has really kind of changed the game for me, helping me connect with my peers when we go into a situation. So, but yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
So did you, before you got into the paranormal 2 years ago, did you have experiences like growing up or as an adult?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I'm from New England, and I'm in my 60s. I grew up on stories like Lizzie Borden. I grew up on stories of the Salem witch trials. So I always had an interest in that kind of stuff. I was, even as a teen, always a believer, even if, we didn't have electronic equipment back then. We didn't have video cameras. It wasn't like Ghost Adventures with no big camera crews following us around, which opened the door for so many of us to grab a camera and go, But I always had an interest in it. And then as I got older, definitely some things happened that made me believe even more. And then again, I just brought up Ghost Adventures. I think when Ghost Adventures hit and Ghost Hunters, taps, when they hit, it just said to a girl like me with a camera, hey, these are two interests that you have. You can do this yourself. So I just, it took a long time before I did pick up that camera and go.
Right.
Truthfully, years, like 20 years. But when I finally did, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. But again, to go back and answer your question, absolutely, I've had some experiences in my life before I ever considered myself any type of investigator. I've had some profound experiences in my life, which I'd be more than happy to share. My favorite one, if you want to hear about it.
Of course, I want to hear about
Okay, great. Now,
it.
I know this is being recorded. May I send you some pictures afterwards for you to put? Do you put
Sure.
pictures in? Okay, because I have a
Mhm.
picture for this one. I have a photo for
Oh,
this
I
one.
would love to. I can absolutely put it right on the screen.
Okay, great. So a few years back, my Aunt Ruthie passed away. Okay, I come from a really large Italian family. I have 15 first cousins. I have a lot of aunts and uncles, and it's a really large, very close knit family. But it's the type of family that, well, first of all, Ashley, if you were to come to a family party of mine, before we walked in the door, I would have to pull you aside and say, they're not arguing. That's just how we talk.
I understand.
So, all right, so
I
our
understand.
parties stopped being at Nanny and Pa's house, and we had to rent out the Italian social club every year for our Christmas parties because
Oh my
now
god.
the immediate family is 60 people, you know. But that's the kind of family that I come from. But I want to bring up that kind of family because it was the kind of family that, you know what, when I'm with Aunt Mary, I'm Aunt Mary's favorite niece. When I'm with Aunt Jean, I'm Aunt Jean's favorite niece. But when my cousin Amanda is with Aunt Jean, she's Aunt Jean's favorite. My point is, each aunt and uncle has a way of making us, the nieces and nephews, feel like we're really, really special. And Aunt Ruthie was very special to all of us, and I feel that I was also very special to Aunt Ruthie. So, anyways, a few years back, sadly, Aunt Ruthie passed away. Oh, and to tell you about Aunt Ruthie, she loved to play cards. She never drank, but she was the one that danced the twist on the tabletops even after heart surgery. And, I think every family needs an Aunt Ruthie. We were so blessed to have an Aunt Ruthie. So, anyways, so Aunt Ruthie passed away, and I went to Connecticut to be with family, and I was very fortunate. I was able to stay, take a trip and stay with everybody. And I stayed with my cousin Amanda, who was also very close with Aunt Ruthie, and we were charged with making the photo collage. So I do, photo editing and all that kind of stuff. So I had taken a picture of Aunt Ruthie and I superimposed her into the Queen of Hearts because she loved cards.
Oh.
We loved Aunt Ruthie. And I had done a whole bunch of other, like, kind of Photoshop type things and printed some stuff out for us to put on this big poster. But this one picture that we really loved of Aunt Ruthie on the Queen of Hearts, the picture was really dark. And my cousin Amanda and I just said to each other over and over again, oh, we wish this were brighter. It's a shame. It really doesn't look that great. We just wish this picture of Aunt Ruthie were brighter.
Yeah.
And Amanda threw the picture like a playing card, just like tossed it, and it landed on the floor on the poster board. And at that exact moment, a single beam of light came in the window and landed on that picture of Aunt Ruthie and made it brighter. And
Oh,
I took a picture of it. I have a picture of it. But I'm also telling you the story. I'm absolute goosebumps.
me too.
Actually, my cousin and I looked at that and we said to each other, Aunt Ruthie is here right now. And we knew she was. And I swear I feel her right now when I tell this story. And it's just wonderful. But we were laughing and we were crying and we were goosebumps and we were experienced Aunt Ruthie in that moment together and captured a photograph. And that was before I ever did any investigating. That was kind of part of that question. But that was a very, very profound experience. And my cousin and I never for any split second ever doubted exactly what we experienced. As when we were going through it, we were hugging each other and crying, Aunt Ruthie's here, Aunt Ruthie's here. And we knew it. And nobody can ever take that away from us. We will always have that moment with Aunt Ruthie. So yeah, that was a very, very profound experience and just really kind of made me a believer in the afterlife, made me a believer that our family is always looking after us, made me a believer that the other side can hear us, made me a believer that you carry your sense of humor with you, made me a believer that you carry your love with you. So that was just such a wonderful experience.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, last night I had an interview, and I had my necrometer running, and I got playing cards. and you can probably barely see it with this horrible camera, but it's under Gloria and it says playing
Did you
cards.
get Gloria last night?
I did.
Gloria is another aunt.
Who's passed?
No, she's not passed, but Aunt Gloria, she's
Okay.
very much alive. But still, I mean, that's not a common name like Mary or Jennifer. I
I've
think
never
Gloria is just
gotten
a little.
Gloria. Yeah,
That's
that was the
cool.
first time I've ever gotten Gloria. So when you were talking, I immediately thought, was Gloria her sister?
Well, funny you should ask that. Yes and no. Okay,
Uh-oh.
so Aunt Gloria is married to my biological uncle, but I have 5 aunts. So Aunt Gloria is like a sister. Aunt Gloria never had any sisters of her own, and she's Italian too. So there were some of our younger cousins who didn't realize that we were related by Uncle Art. They thought Aunt Gloria was just one of the sisters. So you understand that, how a
I
little kid would
understand.
think that. I totally get when somebody told me that about my cousin and they were laughing at him. I said it's a funny story, but I could totally see how a 4-year-old would think that Aunt Gloria is just, it's Uncle Art that's not, you know what I mean? So
Uncle Art is by marriage.
so very funny story.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, when you said playing card, I was like, wait, because I got that last night. And it was just like, things come through and it's like, okay, and then context. I guess Aunt Ruthie was checking in, like just let me know, like, hey, you're gonna be talking to my niece tomorrow.
well, the picture that I'm gonna send you is that picture of Aunt Ruthie in the playing card in a beam of light.
Oh,
So you're gonna look at it, you're gonna get goosebumps when you see that. Well, since we are talking about Aunt Ruthie, I have another Aunt Ruthie story. Again, this was like before I was a paranormal investigator that I'd love to share.
yes,
Where I live
please.
here in Massachusetts, there's a store near us, Open Doors, and they sell crystals and all paranormal stuff and yoga shop and they have all kinds of readers, right? After a few months after Aunt Ruthie passed away, I had arranged for a couple of my cousins to come up and visit me, like for a girls' weekend. I'm in
Hmm.
Boston, they're in Connecticut.
I love Boston. That's so funny. I was just talking about how I love Boston yesterday.
Oh, when you come to Boston, I will be happy to be your tour guide. Okay, I'll take you around town. Okay, I'll take you on some great
Yay!
investigations. Okay.
Oh, don't hit me with a good
So,
time.
yeah, for sure. Count on it. So, when my cousins were here, I thought it would be fun if we went to this shop and all got our cards read.
Hmm.
So, this is what this place does. So of course they had 3 readers available. So I booked 3 appointments all for the same time. So when we got there, you didn't have to wait for the other one. We were all able to go in at the same time and have our cards done. And I've had a few nice readings there before, but at the end of my reading, the lady said to me, I am not a medium. Who's Ruthie? And I said, what? She said, I'm not a medium. She said, I do tarot cards. I read your card. She said, but all day there's been this lady, Ruthie, talking in my ear. And I said, well, that's Aunt Ruthie. And 3 of her nieces are here in this shop. And I'm not surprised that she came with us because she would have come with us for something like this. And I was really excited to share that with my cousins after the reading, that somebody who is not traditionally a medium picked up on her presence and her name. And her name.
Right.
I found that to be fascinating and exciting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had things like that happen to me before, and I'm like, "But I don't know what I am, but I've been told I'm a psychic medium." So when I get stuff like that, it shocks the shit out of me. I'm like, "Wait, what? I'm right? Okay."
And yet it shouldn't shock the shit out of you, right?
It
Right?
shouldn't, but yet it still does.
Yeah. I think for myself, I don't consider myself a psychic medium. I'm very much an empath.
Mhm.
I can read a room, Ashley. I can walk in and just read the room, tell you who to get next to and
Mhm.
who to avoid, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that's psychic or not, but I really feel I work on honing that skill. But also, when I go into a paranormal investigation, again, not being a psychic medium, I usually don't get like images or I don't always get audio things, but I will feel touch and
Mhm.
I'll feel temperature changes. I think I feel more, what's the word? Element changes, I think. I don't know. I'm not coming up with the
It's a clairsentient. It's picking up the energy of that around you. It's being able to read the energy in the room and the people in the room.
clairsenthious.
Clairsentient.
Oh, clairsentient. Oh, thank you. I really like I never really had a name for it because I'm not really sure what it is, but I could tell you even other stories where I'm absolutely 100% positive where I was, visited the way my aunt visited my cousin and myself, by other people. So I think I think some people are an attractant for certain types of activity. There you go. And I think you
For
are an
sure.
attractant for certain types of activity. That shows.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to catch up on some of your shows, and I just love how part of your show prep is to see what, you had your spirit box, or I'm sorry for whatever the name of the device is that you're using. I'm using the generic term, but you had that on last night and we're maybe trying to, I don't know, pick up on things. And sure enough, you do. I noticed that you do. When you tune in your show prep, you tend to come up with things that are relevant. I like
It
that.
always shocks me. I'm telling you, it always shocks me. I was
Mhm.
talking every time, and they'd be like, "That's funny you brought that up," and I'm like, "Okay."
It's good that you've got one that keeps track of all the what is the device that you're using? I want to write it down.
It's an app on the phone. It's called Necrometer or Necrometer.
I had that on my old phone and my old phone died. I'm going to get it again.
I
Use
love it. It is
Yeah.
my favorite.
I use Ghost Tube, which I like very
Mhm.
much, but my favorite device, far and away, my favorite device, I have a Phasma box.
Ooh,
Oh,
I don't have one of those. That looks cool.
it is so powerful. It frightens me sometimes. So the Phasma box is one of those pieces of equipment, like if I'm going to get ready to go on an investigation, well, of course you
Mhm.
test all your equipment. So my Phasma box is on my laptop. So I always test my laptop and everything. And it's a fairly new laptop and it's a new version of Phasma box. So, but I would turn the Phasma box on to test it. And normally it's pretty quiet at home because I try not to do much in the
Yeah,
house.
right.
I gotta sleep here, man.
Yep,
So,
I gotta live here. That's right.
right. So, but I do test the equipment. And I noticed that the Phasma box lately says something relevant the second I turn it on. So I've gotten in the habit of when I'm getting ready to test the Phasma box before I go out the door, I start filming it.
Yeah.
And I have captured just turning the Phasma box on. One night it said Teresa, and then I went to an event, and the next thing you know, me and the lady my own age chit-chatting all about our kids and crocheting and all this other shit for half an hour before I even asked her name, and it turned out her name was what? Teresa.
Teresa, you were meant to meet Teresa.
We were going to the S.K. Pierce mansion in
Oh, I wanna
Gardner,
go there.
Massachusetts. Have you ever been there?
I haven't, no, but I actually just did an episode with investigators I just investigated, and I so wanna go to the SK Pierce Mansion.
I've been there 3 times. It never disappoints, besides the fact that it's just a stunningly beautiful property, and you won't find a dust ball in that place. It is
Wow.
spotless. The floors are, natural wood, they're reflective. It's just stunningly beautiful, but also a lot of paranormal activity, um, in there. I don't even know what I was saying, Ashley.
That's okay, happens to me all the time.
So, well, I'll go off on a tangent about S.K. Pierce Mansion if you wanna hear about that.
Oh, let's hear about one of your investigations there. Sure.
Okay.
I love
So,
it.
and also, if you do come to this area, I would absolutely take you to S.K. Pierce Mansion. It's very exciting. So, now I was watching, I think it was a TikTok where you had, posted a clip of an interview with a guy, and I can't remember who he was. And I think, yeah, I don't know if you had asked him if the spirits had ever flirted with him or if he had ever flirted
Oh,
with spirits.
John.
John,
Yeah.
okay. And I listened to his answer and I thought that was interesting. And I said, that's never happened to me. And I'm like, wait a minute. Holy shit. I was just at SK Pierce Mansion, I don't know, a month ago, like March 21st, something like that. And I had 2 experiences that I felt were interactions of a certain nature with
Uh,
Sylvester K. Pierce himself.
Ruh-roh.
So the first one, this was an overnight, so I had a bedroom. I slept in, her name begins with an M, and I can't remember it, but the nanny's bedroom. I went with a friend, and the nanny's bedroom had a single bed, and the children's nursery was off that room. 2 rooms with single beds, so we claimed those rooms. Everybody threw their shit in a closet so people could investigate other rooms during the investigation, you know. But anyway, so I had the room that belonged to the nanny. Now, the nanny's bedroom and the nursery were on the main floor, but back in the day, the husband and wife had separate bedrooms.
Mhm.
Not just back in the day, me and my husband, we sleep in separate rooms. I don't
Hey, it
like what
makes
he wants.
sense. I would love
Yeah.
to not share a room with Daniel some
And
nights.
I love my husband and he loves me. And we've been married for 33 years. I think this year will be 33 years and we love each other, but we sleep in separate
It's
rooms.
hard.
So
It's hard sleeping in the same room with somebody all the time.
and you know what? My studio is in my bedroom now, and like, everything's it's great. Works out great. Plus he gets up so early. So anyways, but at the S.K. Pierce mansion, Mr. Pierce had 1 bedroom. He was a furniture. He owned a furniture factory, and his
Right.
bedroom faced the factory. His bedroom, and then his wife had another bedroom, and then the nanny and the nursery, separate nursery, for another bedroom. Now they had for communication. Of course, they didn't have like intercoms. They had a tube that went from one room through the wall to the next room. Well, the tube from Mr. Pierce's room didn't go to his wife's room. And the wife didn't have any tubes in her room, so she didn't have a tube that went to the nanny to talk about the kids. The tube went from Mr. Pierce's room to the nanny's room.
Hmm.
Now, in the early 1900s or the late 1800s, the husband really doesn't meddle in the affairs of the nanny. That's the wife's work, and you know it. And, good,
Right.
bad, or indifferent. I'm not making a statement. I'm just stating the facts of the time period.
Oh, I'm judging,
So,
Mr.
but
Pierce. I'm
it's
judging.
well, there's some nefarious activity there, and I will tell you about that shortly. Shortly. And also, Mr. Pierce had a fireplace in his room, and Maddie had a built-in chest of drawers in her room that backed up to the fireplace. So the nanny had warm clothes and Mrs.
Hmm.
Pierce didn't. So,
Hmm.
yes, draw your own conclusions. But wait, there's more. So later on in the evening, we were investigating in Mr. Pierce's room. And he had a reputation of, I think, being a ladies' man, but also there's a billiard room on the 3rd floor, and I'll tell you about that. The
Mhm.
story is going to lead us up to the 3rd floor of the S.K. Pierce mansion, believe me. So, but anyways, we were investigating Mr. Pierce's room, and I was sitting on his bed. And after I was with, I think, 3 of my friends, and we were in there, it was very quiet, and we were filming everything, of course, right? And I could feel somebody start very flirty and playful and
Mm.
gently. And again, telling you the story, I'm absolute goosebumps. I really believe something happened. But it wasn't a bad, like, it wasn't like, oh my God. No, there was a very gentle feeling
Mhm.
to it. However, I don't think he was relating to Mrs. Pierce. I think he was relating to Maddie, the nanny. So I think there may have been a romantic, okay, keep that word in mind, romantic relationship between the two, probably physical too, of course, but romantic with, like tender feelings, okay?
Mhm.
Now, that experience happened to me, and when I sat on the bed to be filmed, my camera malfunctioned and did not capture me sitting on the bed at all. The camera froze, like turning it to set it up to film me. And then when I picked it up and left the room, the camera started moving again. So it's like just totally like it didn't freeze on me, but it froze like in movement. So I thought that was really strange. Like it just didn't even allow for that 2 minutes to be filmed when I was sitting there and experiencing that. But I also felt like I could sense like a tall male presence next to me. So that was interesting. But
Right.
again, that was not a negative feeling at all.
Right.
Now, upstairs in the 3rd floor of the S.K. Pierce mansion is where the rest of the housekeeping staff stayed. So the nanny and the kids stayed with the family. The housekeeping
Mhm.
staff stayed on the 3rd floor. A 16 and 17-year-old we would call it a girl, Ashley, but they were young women at the time, a 16 and 17-year-old young ladies. Susie and Sarah, Susan and Sarah were in charge of the entire housekeeping staff of 22. And they were young. The whole staff didn't work all at the same time, but these two young women were in charge of them. They had a bedroom on the third floor. Other staff had a bedroom on the third floor, but these two young ladies did. And down the hall, and on the other side, there was a men's billiard room. Now, isn't that interesting that a billiard room would be on the third floor where the housekeeping staff is? So that's
Mm.
interesting. But also think back, what would you get for a billiard room in the late 1800s? You would get men, cigar smoking men. You would get
Yeah.
entitled men. You would get businessmen. You would get men with money. So again, like
Wealthy men.
you can judge. I feel like I'm starting the facts. Good, bad, or indifferent. This is what it was. And there's a closet in that room that
Yep. Mhm.
reportedly over the years, really bad things happened to women in that closet at the hands of all these men that I just named, not by name, of course, but you
Right.
know what I mean. That type of conglomerate of men in the late 1800s, you know exactly that type. You do, you do.
Oh, yeah.
So I was on the third floor in those two housekeepers' room, in Susan and Sarah's room. And there were
Mhm.
other investigators down the hall in the billiard room. Again, I'm here and they're down the hall and on the opposite side. So, like, you can't see each other. It's a long hall, so on and so forth. So, I'm in the servants' room and there's a vanity in there. And I don't want to say I was scrying, but I guess I was scrying. I just stood in front of the vanity and looked. And within a second, I was staring at myself. And I said to my friend Joan, "Oh my God, Joan, I'm completely gone. And I can see the wall behind me." Ashley, I was gone. I was gone and I could see the wall behind me. And then I said,
Weird.
"Oh my God, I'm back." So that was
That's
really,
eerie.
really bizarre. Then, as I'm staring at myself in the mirror, I saw myself go out the top of my head and then come right back in. There's no mistake in this hair. I saw my hair. I saw my eyes. I saw my glasses, my nose, my mouth. I went right out the top of my head and then I came right back in. And I went off to the side and then right back in. And then the spirit box said, "Leave now." And I said, "You got it." And I grabbed the spirit box and me and my friend Joan hightailed it out of that room. Next
Oh my
time I'm going to
gosh.
stay. Next time I'm going to stay. But anyways, we
You're gonna be like,
hightailed it
"No."
out of that room. So now it's midnight. We go downstairs. They had a midnight dessert bar. You can't beat that.
Ooh.
So while we're all standing around this big butcher block table and everybody's talking about their experiences and we're having our desserts, I had shared what had just happened to me moments before in the third floor servants room. And one of the investigators who was with the group, Haunted AF, they're the
Yeah,
ones
I've heard
that
of them.
they hosted this. It was the whole night they did a wonderful event. I would happily buy another ticket and go to one of their events. Take my
I've
money,
heard
please.
really good things.
Yeah. So, but as I was telling my story about what had happened, one of the investigators in their group said, "Oh my God, we saw you. And now I'm here and they're there." And I said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "We saw a shadow duck into the door and pull right back out." And they were in that room at the same time that I was in the other room. So I really feel that I had an incident, an astral projection
Uh-huh. Yep.
that was validated by other, I would consider to be reputable investigators.
Mhm. For sure. Oh, yeah. They're wonderful. Yeah, Olivia, I think she's with that group.
Exactly. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yep, she's amazing, and I think there's Taylor.
Yep.
And so
Tina
Jolly
and
with
Ricky.
SoCo Paranormal, he that's how I've learned about them and gotten to know them through Jolly. So yeah, that's awesome.
So there you go. There you go. They were
Huh.
I would I would definitely go to another one of their events. It was so much fun. They're nice people. You got to have that balance of serious investigation and having a good
Yes.
time,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
they just brought that balance. It was just a really fun night. So, geez, Ashley, I'm a pretty easy interview, huh?
Oh, yeah. I
Wind
love
me
it. I'm
up and
just
let
sitting
me
here
go.
listening. I love hearing these stories, though. That's why I do this because it's so cool to listen to other people's experiences because I know my own. I've lived my own, but so I love hearing about other people's. Like, ugh, I want to go to the SK Pierce, which is funny. I don't believe in coincidences. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but if there's one thing that I believe that kind of people are like, what? It's I don't believe in coincidences. I interviewed Perceived Paranormal a few weeks ago, and me and Alyssa, we have known each other we've talked on and off for like a year. So I finally got to interview her. She talked about SK Pierce. And then SK Pierce and I follow each other on social media, but all of a sudden they've been commenting on my stuff recently. And now you're talking about it. And I'm like, does this mean that I need to go to SK Pierce?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
What state are you in? Where do you live?
South Carolina.
Okay, okay,
I'm down here.
okay.
I'm all the way down here.
Well, listen, I'll keep that in mind because Hey, do you know who Christy Parrish is?
No.
Well, check her out, Christy Parrish.
Okay.
She is saving spaces in the Northeast, and she works with many historical homes, historical societies, and she sets up paranormal investigations. She teaches paranormal classes. She is a psychic medium. She's a friend and mentor to many. I consider her a close friend of mine. Well, she is launching a new show called The Walk. And I'm the cameraman. I am the cameraman,
Ooh.
and I'll be filming Christie's walk. And we're going to locations that have a story to tell, and Christy is walking in cold, and we're filming it.
Oh,
And right, does that sound like
I
the
love that.
bomb?
That sounds amazing.
So we just filmed our first episode at a haunted hotel in New Hampshire.
Mhm.
We're filming our second episode this Sunday at a local haunted location. What we're doing is we've like booked a whole bunch and we're like going and filming. And then we're going to sit back and spend some time editing and then release, we hope, a season.
Mhm.
And
That sounds so fun.
really, you've got to please check her out
I
on
will.
social media. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the who's, the wow, the how's, the what, and who she's connected with. But also, Christy is going to be at Mass Paracon in the first weekend of October. Me too. I'm
Ooh.
gonna be.
Hey.
I'll be working at Christy's table. It's her table, but I will be there. I said, I'm your familiar. That's what
Oh,
it seems
I
like.
love that.
I love that. I know, right? But we've got a kind of a good thing going here, and I've got some great equipment, and we just, like I said, we got a good thing going here. Nice little circle of people that we work with, but anyways, at Paracon, we're hoping to promote our show, and then at Mass Paracon, we're also going to launch a new program, which I'm not 100% sure of the title yet. Working title at this point is Paranormal Hot Seat. And
Oh.
at our table, I'll have a booth where you'll step in and we're going to give people 5 to 7 minutes to tell their paranormal story.
Oh, that's cool.
And then whether we do a series or whether we do like one episode showing all these snippets, we're not really sure.
Mhm.
But the idea is to catch interesting stories from people on video in short this is a short snippet burst world. You know
Yeah.
that. Even though
Oh, yes, I do.
yeah, I don't want it to be, but it is.
People have short attention spans.
They do. They do. That's the age of doom scrolling.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so we're looking to get, and I just told you a few stories, but each one of those stories, I could sit down and tell the story of Aunt Ruthie. I could tell that in 5 minutes, and I'm not sure if we're going to green screen behind it, or like today I picked because I didn't know if I could green screen on your software. I probably could, but I picked, so.
As of right now, I really don't know since my software has been just acting a fool lately.
I use StreamYard. I think they should pay me because I have really good things to say about them. I'm sure you pay for your software, right?
I
You
do.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
I pay for mine too. I have had a few glitches with StreamYard. For the most part, I'm really happy with it. I've learned a lot from it. Like green screening,
Yeah.
which I really, like I said, I've gotten really good at it. So,
Yeah.
Anyways,
I like Riverside because since I'm a video podcast and an audio podcast, I can edit both at the same time, and it's nice being able to edit the video and the audio at the same time, but it is I don't know what has happened this past month. I'm about to just like, it's so bad where I'm like I told my husband, "I'm about to quit." He's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Yes, I am."
I'm glad we didn't have to reschedule,
Me
'cause I
too.
know you carved time out of your busy schedule for this, and my schedule is busy as well. I guess if you're going to post this in June, I'll go ahead and say what I'm doing tomorrow night. We have a private event tomorrow night at the Emery Estate in Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Ooh,
So when you come for your Northeast tour, that's on our list, okay? This is a
okay.
3-story mansion about 8 minutes from my
Oh,
house, and it was built after it's certainly smaller than Mount Vernon, George Washington's home, but
yeah.
it's a smaller version of it, and it's 3 floors of amazing. And Billy Graham, the televangelist, you know who he
Mhm.
was.
Oh, yeah.
He used to stay in this house. He was friends with the family, and he had a bedroom
Oh,
there. And I've been to the Emery estate probably a half a dozen times in the last 2 years. Every time in that Billy Graham bedroom, you get spirit box activity that will come across as religious. You'll hear snippets of preaching from the pulpit, and you'll hear
wow.
God. Or if you try to provoke and say I'm an atheist, you'll get, like, messages back, God loves all. Or it's very bizarre and very interactive, not just active,
Interesting.
very interactive. And also I'm a controversial. I'm a firm believer in light anomalies. I
Mhm.
also believe in dust and bugs. So
Yes, me too.
if I share or post any photos or videos with an orb in it or a light
Mhm.
anomaly in it, trust and believe I have tried to debunk it 6 different ways to Sunday. I've tracked the lighting, the IR lighting on my camera. I've looked at, did anyone have a cell phone? So on and so on and so forth, and last but not least, I'm in pest control. So I know bugs.
She's like, "I know bugs. If anybody knows bugs, this girl knows bugs."
So it really, if I were to post some type of light anomaly, I've really done my best at trying to debunk it, or I'll post light anomalies that I think are interactive, or that I know other
Right.
people have seen something with their own eyes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I get stuff in here sometimes, and I usually have Berta. She's usually sitting right here, but I
Mm-mm.
left her downstairs because I accidentally left her in here all night long, and so I was like, "My bad." She doesn't like being in here alone, so I'm like, "Okay." So I left her. She's sitting in her rocking chair. Oh, yeah, she's not happy with me. So,
Mm.
yeah, but I have had, like, orbs, for lack of a better term, like, come out of her and go through the wall, and I'm like, I'll watch it happen behind me, and I'm like, and I'm sitting here, I don't see a bug, I don't have bugs flying around. Now I do have dust. I'm in an attic, of course I have dust, but you don't see them typically. Now
Right.
my other camera that is usually much better because I don't know what's going on with my stuff, but this is why the quality is not as good as you're used to. Sorry guys. But my cameras are acting up, and so I'm using my webcam, but one of my other cameras, it is like 4K and HD, so you can really see these things just like I had one right here behind my head just materialize right here and go right behind me. I don't see it with my eyes, like I'm not seeing anything around me, but yet I can see it on the screen and it's always crazy to me. It's always crazy.
I've had very similar experiences with. Now I'm on my laptop right now because we did have many technical problems. Um,
So many.
But when I've got my 4K ultra high def and I'm live streaming, there have been times where I have seen things behind me that there's just this, like you said, like, first of all, you see it like on the screen, but the other thing you said, like with your doll, you saw those light anomalies coming out of her.
Like
It
coming
wasn't a
out
piece of
of
dust
her.
falling from the ceiling, which I feel bad for any orbs falling from the ceiling that look like dust because they're going to be discounted.
Yes. Very
Right,
true.
right,
Very true.
right.
And how I explain people to dust on camera, like if there's flash and you see them, they usually are very like, phew, know
Mhm.
what I mean? They're just, they kind of go up. They kind of like but with me, with my experience with orbs, they're so directional. It's like they're just like, it's like they have purpose.
Yes. Yes.
And then bugs are like,
There's definitely a pattern to bugs flying, and I agree. Again, Like I
Yep.
said, any energy coming down, straight down, sorry guys, you're gonna get debunked as dust. So
He's
funny.
like, "I was just an acrobat in a previous life. I like to hang from the
Right.
ceiling."
Well, I'm sure, like you said, I've seen too things that light anomalies that are just completely inexplicable, no independent light source, movement that where they shoot out of somebody or shoot through somebody. I've had experiences at the Emory Estate in the closet on the third floor.
You in closets.
I know, right? I know. Somebody else said that to me. My friend was filming me, and I was in the closet, and all you hear is her saying, now this is, of course, Massachusetts, so that Boston accent, Jennifer, Jennifer, I can see the orbs. They're dancing around your head, Jennifer. And sure enough, I mean, we've got, there's two, and they're so distinctive, and they just come out, and it's like they're checking me out. It's like, who is this lady? What is
They're
this? And then
watching you.
off it goes, and then another one, and she could see them on the camera. It was just so cool. And then afterwards, of course, I could see them. It's one of my favorite pieces of evidence. It was like freaking Tinkerbell.
Wow.
It's like a fairy, like a fae was dancing around me. Ashley, you brought up your doll, and
Yep.
she's not behind you. And I absolutely loved the episode with Jocelyn.
Yes.
Jocelyn, and what's the first doll she was holding, the one she was holding so close to her?
Tina.
Tina. Boy, does Tina look like Jocelyn.
Yes.
It's
That's her
amazing.
baby.
It's amazing.
That is her baby.
Amazing.
Well, Roberta looks like Jocelyn.
So
That's what's so crazy.
there you go. So yeah, but I have two things here with me that I wanted to share with you.
Ooh.
Let's see if you have anything to say about either one of them. Bear with
Oh
me.
God, she's putting me on the spot, everybody.
Well, and if not, you can just say how cool they are.
Okay.
Okay. So first I've got this guy. So you can see him, see his face. Do you know who he is?
It.
This is Pennywise the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You should see the look on your face.
I see it.
That's why Pennywise, I have a friend, Matt Warner. Do you know who Matt Warner is? Warner
Name sounds
Paranormal.
familiar.
Yep.
From where?
He has a doll room at his house.
Wait,
And
who is he with?
Warner Paranormal Preservation.
Okay. Okay.
And his house, his house, you can do investigations at his house. There's another place I'll have to take you, to the House of Hurt and Pain. And he has a doll room. It's not just a doll room, it's a relics room. And his bedroom, this is his home. His bedroom is decorated with Ouija boards, and yeah, Ashley, we won't miss this one on the tour that I'm going to take you on, okay? All this stuff is like within 20 minutes of my house. It's amazing, right?
Wow.
Anyways, this guy, I'm gonna donate him to Matt's doll room because he belongs
He
in
makes
the
my
room with
stomach
other
hurt.
dolls. Full disclosure, I made this.
I just knew that without you telling me that. I knew that, and I was going to ask you.
Yeah. And two things I want to say is this is by no means is this a representation of my work. I am a master crocheter, and I can read patterns. I can crochet blindfolded, standing on my head with one hand tied behind my back. This was my first ever attempt at a doll. And it
Wow.
was very complicated. I've since gotten way better at dolls because like I'll send you some pictures if you ever want to see. I am highly proficient crocheter. I've been crocheting for over 50 years. So, but I feel like I didn't do this poor son of a gun any justice. And I think he's
I think you did
pissed
great.
about that. I think he's pissed about that.
He
You
makes my
know.
stomach feel
So,
funny.
yeah, so I'm going to send him off to a really, really good home. He knocked over a lamp just now. But then I have this. Can you see this?
Is that a cat?
It's a cat.
It's missing an eyelash.
It is. It is. It's because he's old.
Yeah.
This stays in my bedroom. This isn't going anywhere. This one stays with me. So I'll show you again. It's just so certainly sentimental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what is the importance of the kitty?
So the kitty, my father was a Marine, and when he was in the Marines, probably 1962, maybe in 59, late 50s, he sent that to his mother, my grandmother, when he was overseas and he was away for Valentine's Day. So he sent that to my grandmother for Valentine's Day. My grandmother kept that on her bed until the day she died. And then one of my aunts held on to it for me until I was, you can't just hand this shit off to a kid. I would have lost it along the years. Just recently, one of my aunts said, we've been holding this for you because it was my father that gave it to my
Right.
grandmother. And it was just because Valentine's Day and he was overseas, it was just given with such love,
Yeah.
So, but this kitty was on my grandmother's bed from the 50s until I think my grandmother died in the 90s. So this was on my grandmother's
Mhm.
bed every day for 40 years. She made her bed and this kitty sat, on the white chenille bedspread in the middle of the bed. Can't you just picture that? Can't you just
Mhm.
picture
I
that?
can see it in my head.
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody's nanny or Grammy had one of those bedspreads.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
it definitely has a different energy than the Pennywise. It was more calm, it was more loving, it was more definitely sentimental, but it wasn't like a, "Whoa."
yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally different sentiments. I think Pennywise is pissed. So he's
Yeah.
probably, honestly, it's probably one of the few things that I ever crocheted that I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. Notice I didn't say that I failed because I didn't want
Right.
to say that in front of him. So it wasn't as successful as I hoped it would be.
I think it suits him.
Yeah. Well, he'll be at a good home very shortly. In fact, in 2 weeks I'll see Matt Warner. He he's he's having a paint night. We're painting Ouija boards, and he manages this place called Hartsuff Hall, which used to be a hall of the Grand Army of the Republic. And so he manages that for paranormal activities, and you can rent it out for things and stuff like that. So he's got the first half of the night is painting Ouija boards, and the second half of the night is a paranormal investigation of the hall.
Cool.
So, anyways,
Very cool.
Pennywise is really looking forward to going to his new home in a few weeks, and the people here, me and Kitty, we're gonna wish him well in his new home.
So do we know if there is something attached to Pennywise?
I don't necessarily feel anything negative, but I feel like when I look at him, he's very unhappy. He's
Yeah,
very unhappy.
he has a vibe.
I think where I'm sending him, he's going to be with all girl dolls. So I think he might like that. And
Okay.
there's also some really weird, God, masks, like African masks and
Okay.
demonology masks and stuff. So I think he'll just fit right into that kind of setting, Yeah. So I just wanted to share those with you. I know you like dolls and I know sometimes you pick things up, but mainly I know you like them. So
Yeah, like is a strange word. Roberta picked me. I would have never had a haunted doll, but she picked me and
Mhm.
she was coming into my dreams, kind of demanding to come live with me. So here she is.
Where did you find her?
She was Jocelyn's.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
Mhm.
what did you say to Jocelyn that doll should come live with me? Or did she say that to you?
It was something that Roberta came into my dream as Jocelyn. And the dream that I had was Jocelyn throwing herself down on my bed, telling me how scared she was and how she needed help. She needed out. She needed help. Well, then Jocelyn made a post about a couple days later, maybe a week later, about how some of her positive dolls were scared of her negative dolls. And I was like, wait a second. And so I had messaged her and said, hey, I think one of your dolls came to my dream asking for help. Can you send me a video of your doll room so I can see if I can pick her out? And so I was like, she looked like you. So she was going through the room and she didn't even stop on her. And I was like, it's her. That's her. And she's like, that's the one asking to leave. So that's kind of how I figured it out. And then when she shipped Roberta, her box started to get crushed. She came to me in a dream again. I didn't know that she was getting crushed, but she was freaking out. And then when she arrived, the part over her head was crushed in and she's porcelain. So I think she was scared she was going to get broken in the mail. And then so I left her in here because the plan, my kids do not all support what I do. So my birth daughter is the one that's the most against it. So she freaked out when this doll showed up. And I was like, don't worry, I'm going to keep her in here. Well, Roberta doesn't like being closed up in a room. She wants to be part of the family. She wants to be in a rocking chair. She wants to watch the birds. So I set her up in the living room and I used to have her, I would move her because I was worried my pit bull would eat her. So I
Mhm.
had left her in the chair one night and it was cold. It was like one of the coldest days of the year. And I forgot to move her away from the window. And she came in my dream again. And I was covering her with the scarf. I woke up and I was like, I left her in the window. And so now she has a blanket, a rocking chair. She moves like if I'm cooking in the kitchen or if I'm working downstairs, I kind of just like move her around. Just, I don't know. I sound crazy. My daughters are like, Mom, are you? And I said, listen, if that's the worst thing I do as a mother, I think you're pretty good in the mom department. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the worst thing I do as a parent is put a doll in a rocking chair, get over it. You'll be okay. So, yep, she just kind of comes with me places. Like she's usually up here with me, but like I said, I've kind of forgot her in here last night and I felt bad. She's down in the window watching the birds.
Please send her my regards
I
and
will.
tell her I'm sorry that I missed her today.
I will. I will
Let's
tell her.
keep that nice and, I think that's amazing how she communicates with you. You're talking to Jennifer of Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies. I don't think you're crazy.
My daughters, or
Right?
one of my daughters, do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I mentioned to you that I've been married for 34 years, 34, 33, something like that. 32 years, 32 years in
Over
July.
30.
But my husband has no interest in this. I go out like every Saturday night. I film my new show on Sundays. I live stream Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays, and he has zero interest in this. He doesn't ask me about anything. I joke with him. I say, well, it's not a joke anymore. Actually, I tell him I'm going to be a star. Seriously, I'm very good at marketing myself, and it's kind of mind blowing to me. But I told him, I said, I want to do this, whatever this is that combines paranormal activity, paranormal investigating, videography, and making new friends. I want to do this all the time, every day, all day, every day for the rest of my life. And it's amazing how that's manifested.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. But the point I was saying is that my husband doesn't ask about it. I don't tell him about it. I write on the calendar when I'm going out. Oh, you going out this Saturday? What are you making me for dinner? Whatever you want, honey. But yep, I'm going out. But he doesn't have any interest in it at all, which
Yeah.
again is fine with me, which is another reason why we sleep in separate rooms because I watch all the ghost hunting shows and the podcasts and all that shit, and he does not,
I get
right?
that. I get it. My husband and he does this with me every once in a while, but it's not his thing, and that is okay.
Yep. Yep. I am pleased every now and then. I like to tell my husband that my endeavors are successful. He doesn't want to hear about ghost hunting, that's fine. But like after my live stream, he knows when I'm gonna live stream because I'm like, I'm live streaming, control the dog. But when I
Right. Yep.
finish, I'll go downstairs and say, all right, I'm done. But I'll always tell him how it was. And I think my live streams, I think they go really well and I have a blast doing them. So I'm always happy to say to him, it was so far, every live stream has been like the best one ever so far.
I love it.
So, but I'm happy to tell him that. And I think he's happy for me, but that's all he wants to know. Was a good live stream? Good for you, honey.
Good for you.
Yeah, he thinks this
Proud
is a
of you.
hobby, and I'll tell you, when I set out doing this, one of my goals was to be at a table at Mass Paracon, and
And
here
there
I am
you are.
24 months later, this is happening,
Yep. That's
so,
amazing.
yeah.
No, so quick question, because we're pushing an hour, so we're gonna have to wrap it up
Yep,
in a little
yep.
bit. But gals, no, ghosts and ladies. Is there more than one ladies?
No, I am GALS. I am GALS. I am the
Okay.
sole
Okay.
proprietor of GALS. I certainly have I would call them a network, but they're really my friends. There's this core group of people that we
Mhm.
tend to all go to the same events together. I'd say there's about a dozen of us or so, and some of them have gals t-shirts and, but I am gals. I'm the CEO, the sole proprietor, the CFO. I pay for everything that has a gal's name on it. Any event that is sponsored by gals is sponsored by me and me alone. Like I said, I'm really thrilled to work with other groups and other individuals. Other individuals will sometimes work with me under like the gal's name. I'm not
Mhm.
copyrighted yet, but just you wait because, like I said, I'm building a brand, I feel I'm building a brand here. you know? And I know it's not about fame and fortune, but again, the brand, it's just so cool. I think I'm working on getting merch, not just t-shirts and stuff like that, you know? I think it's well received at this time to have the
Good.
kind of the ghost hunting with a little bit of a pink touch to it.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
call myself the paranormal sweetheart for a reason because I love all the spooky. I go in all the spooky places, but you look at me and
You're a
more than
girly
likely would
girl.
never know.
You're a
I am
girly
a
girl.
girly girl.
Me
Like,
too.
hey.
Yeah, me too. You know, the look at the hairband and always makeup. You will never see me online or at an investigation or at work or in public without makeup on. Makes me happy.
Every once in a while, I might go to the grocery store without makeup on, but no, if I'm put like my kids know if I'm putting makeup on, I have an interview.
My dog knows if I'm putting makeup on, he's like, "Oh, that's it," and he'll slink out of the bedroom. She must be doing something, and off he goes. So yeah, but yeah, so gals it's pretty much me. It was certainly it is my idea. My live stream is all me. Like I said, I pay for everything. Nobody even asked for money from viewers or anything like that. I pay for it all. It's become a hobby,
Mhm.
paranormal investigating, the live streaming, it's become a hobby that is maybe not turning into a career, but it has the potential to be a really fun part-time job. Does that make sense?
I get it. That
Yeah.
makes complete sense. I totally get it because this is my hobby as well.
And it's a
So I
hobby
get
that
it.
you're passionate about and you try to
Yes.
do well and do better and improve and you're going to go back and edit this and you're going to criticize everything, I'm sure. I know I am my own worst critic, you
Oh,
know.
yes. I
I
am
I'm
mine.
glad
I am
you've
sitting
recorded
here
this
fuming.
and not me because after my live streams, I sit down and I watch the whole hour through and say, where did I go wrong? I was live. Where did I go wrong? And, like I said, just being my own worst critic all the time, you know?
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
same way. Like, I'm so frustrated with my camera stuff right now. I can't even. I'm like, okay, when I go out, because I have an appointment coming up in a little while, and I'm like, when I'm out, am I going to Best Buy to be? I might even take my laptop because I just got this laptop and be like,
hmm
I am not happy.
hmm hmm Well,
This shouldn't be happening.
be careful in case it's a picnic. And as an old, kind of tech person, the term picnic, problem in chair, not in computer. And I don't mean that personally. What I mean is, Ashley, this has been a strange day for both of us. Make sure that it's not an energy around you and not the
Oh no,
laptop.
this is this. There's something going
Okay.
on with my
Okay. But you
computer.
you
There's
get what
something
I'm
going on.
saying. I mean, I don't mean
Oh
that
yeah,
you're
I
really a
get it.
problem, but you get what I'm saying that
She just
there's
called me a problem on my own show.
it's in
Everybody,
your
we
in
all
your
heard her.
own show, in your own show. And I've seen some of your shows. You do very well technically. So I don't know
Hmm.
what's going on here. But again, you understand what I was saying. Just be very careful to make sure it's not your own energy is off for some reason. Be very safe, okay?
I will be very safe. Well, tell everybody where they can come and find you and catch your live streams.
Okay, well, you can find me on Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies on Facebook. Look me up. I'm also Jennifer Payne 30 Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies on YouTube. Those are the only two socials that I'm on right now, but you can find me in both places. Not only do I live stream, but you can always catch the live streams at a later time. We can't always watch all the podcasts and everything that we want to in real time. So find your favorite podcaster and watch them when you're cleaning the house or listen when you're cleaning the house or when you're putting your makeup on. Please do this for
That's right.
Ashley and please do the same for me. Thank you. But
Yes.
that's where you can find me. And also, I can't wait to see everybody at Mass Paracon in the first weekend of October. We're going to be in Taunton. And please stop by the table, say hello to me and Christy. Stop by the Paranormal Hot Seat and tell us your paranormal story. And
Oh,
maybe you'll see yourself on the big screen coming up soon. Lots of exciting things to announce as time goes on. So I do hope that you'll all tune in over on Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies. And also one last thing I do want to say that Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies live stream has been picked up by the Paranormal XL network. Yay
yay!
me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was a production assistant for a project that they had done here in the Northeast about a month and a half ago.
Very
And
cool.
was very pleased. We filmed a game show, a paranormal game show.
Oh,
Stick around.
fun.
This is going to be fun. I can't wait to share it with you. Not only was I a production assistant, but one of the episodes, I was a participant in a
Ooh,
paranormal game show. So it was a lot of fun.
so cool.
So, but that's where you can find me. And that's what what is up and coming with GALS.
Well, thank you so much to Jennifer for joining Ghost Gossip and telling about all her experiences up in Massachusetts. Thank you so much. And make sure you're following her. Go. I will have all her links in the show notes. You know where to go. And while you're there, check me out, Ghost Gossip Pod, Ghost Gossip Podcast, Ghost Gossip 24/7, and email all your ghost gossip to ghostgossip247 at gmail.com. Until next time, they'll see you later.